The next time a client says your price is too high, don't panic, pivot. I'll show you how to turn that objection into an opportunity to close the deal.
Hello, this is the Hack Hour Podcast, a show where it's all about helping real, everyday, hardworking remodelers learn the secrets to having it all in life and business. And now, here's your host, Mike Minges.
Welcome back to another episode of the Hack Hour, episode 19. It's not the price, it's your process. Handling price objections like a pro. Hi, I'm Mike Minges, the founder of the Remodeling Academy, the place where remodelers come to learn how to sell profitably, build trust with their clients, and dominate their markets. If you've ever heard a homeowner say, "We like you, but your price is too high," or "Man, your ideas are great, but your estimate is way over our budget," or "Why is your price almost double what someone else has quoted us?" then this episode's for you. Today we're going to tackle why price objections aren't the real problem anyway, and how to handle them with confidence and professionalism. And also recognize that if people aren't telling you that your price is too high, there's a clue you need to raise them. You should be hearing this on a routine basis. So stick around, right? Because this episode will help transform the way you approach the sales and make conversions and ensure your clients see the value you provide. All right, so here's the problem. Homeowners experience sticker shock because they have misconceptions about remodelers and they have misconceptions about remodeling, right? And the reason that they have them is because they are not typically experienced in remodeling, nor are they experienced in hiring remodelers. So that's what they don't understand. Just because you've watched a few shows of something on HGTV, or just because a neighbor did a remodeling project, or just because your parents did, doesn't mean that you or your client knows. All right, so look, let's start with some real facts. 79% of homeowners set a budget for their remodeling project. That's good, right? People have learned we need a budget. We're going to stick to it. We have a certain amount of money, and that's what we want to work with. Perfect. Now, here's the problem. 70% of them exceed it, right? Now, you might start asking, how is that so possible? Why do more than half, right, almost 2/3, why do they go over their budget? Well, I can explain that to you. And you can explain this to homeowners as well. You should be quoting these facts and giving them to your clients. Most homeowners are naive about what a remodeling project should even cost in the first place, right? This leads to an unrealistic expectation and then can lead to that eventual sticker shock when they actually hear a fair and accurate price from a knowledgeable contractor. So while you may be the highest, you have to let your client know, that's interesting. I must be the only one that really heard what you wanted and is actually going to deliver that. Maybe the other guys are just going to give you what they think you want and what they know they can get away with, but not actually give you what you want, right? You're going to have to learn how to create some confusion or doubt in the homeowner's mind about that which they think they know, so that they can recognize that they might not in fact know what is reality, right? So here's the kicker, right? Homeowners experience sticker shock day in and day out, especially when it comes to remodeling. They are basing the today's cost on a kitchen remodel based off what their parents paid 20 years ago, what a neighbor might have paid, right? They just don't know. Their cousin halfway across the country remodeled a project and has this nice kitchen that they've only seen pictures from on Facebook, but to them it's, $1 million kitchen that they only paid $100 for, right? You understand, they start making assumptions. They watch HGTV and learn that the flipper said, yeah, it cost us $5,000, right? And you know darn well that $5,000 barely even covered the cost of the cabinets or the countertop. All right, so let's be real and let's help break it down for the client. So The homeowner, you have to understand how their mind works. When they hear your price and it's too high, or the way they go about the process in the first place is in their mind, they're going to look for the reasonably priced contractor because they want to be the smart shopper, the smart consumer, right? So they're going to shop it and they're going to think that by getting a better price that they're getting a better deal. But instead of solving their dilemma about getting a lower price, they just make the situation worse. And why? It's because the cheaper contractor is cutting a corner somewhere. If the contractor has really listened and if they were going to plan to give the homeowner everything the homeowner wanted, there's no way the price would be that cheap. We all know that, right? So we're not sure all the time how the cheaper contractor is doing it, but typically it's either they're getting cheaper, inferior materials. They could be stealing the materials from one of your other job sites to only, right? That's happened to us multiple times. We've had things stolen off our job site. We know very well that they end up on another job site. It could be the craftsmanship. I can't tell you. This was great. Helping a remodeler down in Montgomery County. And one of the first jobs he takes me on to, and he's all excited about how they just landed this nice big basement remodel. And I'm watching their sub use drywall screws to put down exterior decking on some steps that they had to create a landing and a new walkway, and it was going to help the client get over to where the basement was. And anyway, they're using decking product, and their guys putting it together with drywall screws. And you just start shaking your head, and you recognize that that's how a lot of people cut corners because they're not doing it properly. All right. So the other thing, the way a lot of contractors can cheapen the price is they just don't care. They don't care if they ever get the job done. They don't care if they follow through and do all of it. They're going to do the minimal amount possible to hopefully just get the customer to pay them and move on. Right? Now, we have to help homeowners understand all of this. We have to educate them that the majority of home improvement lawsuits between the frustrated homeowner and the cheap contractor always comes back to the homeowner hired the cheap contractor, right? It's not rocket science. It just takes a little bit of time in the industry and you can see these problems coming from a mile away. Our homeowner, unfortunately, is new to the industry and they don't know that train is leaving its tracks. So, again, most homeowners just don't fully understand all the moving parts, the complexity of what remodeling is. They severely just underestimate the time and the expertise, the resources that are required to do the job right. The average homeowner has no idea what a crapshoot it is when they hire someone, and that the likelihood that person can deliver the product is minimal at best, right? If they only could see the corners that most contractors are cutting, they would run in fear because that unfortunately is prevalent in the industry. And you only need to visit multiple job sites. You need to just go look at all the new homes that have recently had some remodeling work done and then the homeowner puts them up for sale. And you will see things that just make you shake your head and go, why, right? You see this every day, day in, day out, regardless of the market. So when a remodeler, a professional remodeler like you, provides an accurate and fair, right, and good price, it does often feel like sticker shock to the homeowner because they don't know what they didn't know, and they likely aren't also getting estimates from other people as qualified as you, because the reality is there just aren't that many in the industry. Our industry has a low bar. We've talked about that before. 50% of you won't be in business in 5 years. 70% of you won't make it past 7, right? The failure rate's high because the foundations, knowledge, and good business practices are low across the industry. So you don't want to be priced like everybody else. You shouldn't be anywhere near everybody else. If you are priced low and close to your competition, that should scare you because most likely you also are on your way of being out of business, not a matter of like if you're going to, it's only a matter of when. Okay. Let's get back to the reframing of the sticker shock that the homeowner experiences. If you grasp nothing else from this episode, please just let this sink in that your homeowner has the problem if they think your price is too high. You don't have the problem. Your price is perfect. It's their perception and what they were basing, what they think the price should have been off of, that's the problem. And here's the great opportunity that now presents itself is you get to help offer a solution to the homeowner and help educate them to why your price was perfect all along. Okay, so the homeowner has sticker shock. So here's the point you have to help the homeowner understand. The price isn't high because us as the contractor are too expensive. It's high because the homeowner is trying to buy too much with too little. Okay, hey, I get it. You don't have enough money to buy all this stuff. You have too many things in your shopping cart, right? You have to take some things out of the shopping cart so that we can lower the price. So you as the remodeler, you get to educate them on this. Again, the client expresses concern about the cost. Their concern's real. In their mind, they are convinced that they know best. And unfortunately, what they're basing their story off of is broken information. So here's how you can help handle and educate and bring the homeowner into the successful world where they have remodeling bliss, right? So first thing we're going to do, we acknowledge the homeowner's feelings. Hey, Mr. Smith, I completely understand why this price feels surprising. Remodeling can be complex, and it's not always easy to anticipate everything that's involved, right? You can help them reframe the way they're thinking, their perspective. Here we go. Mr. Smith, if you're working with a contractor who provides a price that sounds too good to be true, it's worth asking yourself what corners that they're cutting to make that price possible. How are you not going to be getting a quality product? Literally, how are they potentially screwing you? What is it that you're not going to get that you think you're getting? You have to ask yourself this, Mr. Homeowner. All right? You have to be direct with them. Now, let's look at some homeowners' options, right? A knowledgeable, honest contractor is a blessing to any homeowner, and they are rare. You as the professional, you as a knowledgeable, caring contractor, you are rare. You have to recognize that. And again, you need to be expecting this to come up, and part of your presentation and part of your company story should be addressing all this so that the homeowner is ready. Before you even give a price, you need to have a story where you go over how a lot of homeowners have in fact found themselves to have that perceived sticker shock, only to later learn that the price that they were being given was the correct price. They just didn't understand how to determine what a fair price should be, right? So again, because you're not misleading your homeowner, you are doing what we call giving them the truth, right? You're inviting them to be educated. And once the homeowner has the knowledge, once they have the truth, once they have been educated, they have two options. First, the homeowner can be suggested that they actually adjust their budget, realign their expectation to reflect the true cost of what they want. Wow, well, this is everything that we wanted. We originally thought it was going to cost this, only to now recognize it really should be costing this. And if we're not paying this, then we shouldn't be expecting to get that. And if someone tells us that we can get this for that, we're misinformed. They aren't telling us the truth. Now, the other thing the homeowner can do, if they're not willing to adjust their budget up, they can adjust their scope down, right? So they can lower their requirements and they can scale back the project to fit their budget. Originally, we wanted all of this. That's why our shopping cart was so full. We're going to cut back on this item. We're going to get less of that. We're going to do less here. And so now the scope comes down and your price gets to stay in line now, right? They can bring their price down because they've brought down what they want being completed. Does that make sense? All right. So here's the important takeaway that you have to help the homeowner understand. It's not about sacrificing quality, right? It's about making informed decisions. Wouldn't you rather be knowledgeable and understand what you're doing? They would. Homeowners would like to be smart. They want to know that they're making good decisions, right? Your job is the remodeler, the professional remodeler, the renegade remodeler. Your job is to guide them through this process. And you do it with empathy, and you do it with expertise, and you do it in a very calm manner, and it comes across as just simple facts. That's it. Not a lot of drama. You just explain the facts. All right. So how do we handle real price objections, right? First, we actually acknowledge the concern. So when the client says, hey, Joe, your price is just too high, the worst thing that you could do is to get defensive or start trying to justify it. Instead, just acknowledge the concern. You can say, that's a great concern. I completely understand why you want to make sure you're getting the best value for your investment. Would it be okay if I shared a little insight into how remodeling prices work? See, this response is going to validate their feeling, not put them on the defensive, and it keeps the conversation between the two of you open and collaborative, right? We're not butting heads. We're just asking a question and hopefully they'll be open. I have not had a client say no to this. Many of them are shocked that I don't get defensive because they experience in the past was that the remodeler got defensive when they were told the price was too high. So I just expect it. In fact, if I don't get it, then that's when I get nervous. If a homeowner doesn't tell me that I'm too expensive, I'm saying, man, I must have underbid this one. I've missed something. Now, what we want to do in this process, right, we want to ask thought-provoking questions. And this is where the magic happens. We've talked about this before. If you've done any of our coursework or listened to other episodes, you understand instead of jumping into explanation, you as the professional ask questions that will then guide the homeowner. Okay. So when you ask the homeowner, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, when you look at a remodeling estimate, what do you think goes into it? Is it mostly the materials, the labor, or something else? Their actual answer isn't, the specifics aren't so important. What we want to see is how much thought do they start putting into the process? And what we're hoping it does is start making them question why they think the price is too high without us ever saying anything about why the price is high or low. We're just asking questions, right? You see where I'm going with this? So another question you want to ask, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, have you ever noticed how two similar looking products like cabinets can have very different price points? What do you think causes that difference? Pause and just let them think and answer. They're going to see the correlation. They're going to start saying, well, it must be the quality. I guess one really is better than the other. You know what? We never thought about it like that before. You know, I always wondered why the one door at Home Depot was $250 and the other was $1,500. Yeah, I guess you're right. You know, the one is going to be more durable or last longer or works better in this certain application, right? Or has extra features. Yeah, I guess not all doors are actually alike. We never thought about that before. You have to give the homeowner a minute, right? Remember, they don't do this every day. This might be your 60th kitchen remodel you're doing this year, And the homeowner hasn't done one, if any, in the last 50 years. Okay. Another question you want to ask them is, if you had to choose between the lowest price and the most reliable outcome, which would give you the most peace of mind? And just be patient and let them think. They might not have ever drawn the conclusion or made the connection that they are opening themselves up to a lot of risk and a lot of potential for never getting the job done or having a horrible experience if they do in fact hire the cheaper person. Right? See, they just don't make the connection until you help them understand that. You help educate them about the industry. You help explain how some of your competition goes down to the homeless camp under the highway, and that's where they find their day labor, and they pay them a very low-end day labor rate so that they can go get their fix that night. And then they hope that they'll be able to work the next day. But often that person is still drunk or high and can't. So that's why the job ends up taking a 3-week job, takes 3 months to a year, right? Because the contractor can't find the reliable workforce on a daily basis because he doesn't have a reliable workforce, because he doesn't pay a good wage. And that's the only way he can get any semblance of this job completed for the price that he's put out there. He doesn't know if he'll ever get it done. And he doesn't often care because he's gotten the deposit. That's where he made most of his money anyway. If he gets the job done, great. If he doesn't, oh well. And then some of them hope the homeowner's only option is to sue them, because once the homeowner realizes that suing in certain states costs way more than the money that they've lost on the project, then they just don't even pursue the lawsuit. So then they just lose all the money altogether. You have to be the one that enlightens the homeowner and how the process works. You have to share with them, do you know how many contractors come into our state that have lost their license in another state only to then come open up here? And this is how they go about their business. How many contractors do you think have changed their name multiple times because this is their process? They collect your deposit. They do the minimal viable work that they have to. Then they just hope that you'll go away and hire someone else and hope that you'll never sue them, right? They just take the money and don't do the job. And in 2 or 3 years, after that company gets a bad enough rap, they'll close that company and they'll open the next company. Welcome to the world of remodeling. Aren't you glad that you had someone like me help educate you to all the potential dangers that are out there? That's why the other guys are so cheap, right? Be someone who enlightens them and helps them understand what the market is really like. Again, these questions encourage the homeowner to think critically about the quality, the reliability, and the long-term value of this investment that they're getting ready to make, without even feeling any pressure. You're just helping them choose. What is it that they want their dollars to go towards? Do they want it to go towards a gamble, getting the cheapest thing, hopefully, that works out? Or do they want to say, no, I'd rather spend more money and be guaranteed that I'm going to get what I want? The average, the most people that you deal with are going to want the guarantee. They're not going to want to take the gamble. Some will, and let them go at it. All right. Third step here in our process, we need to reframe the pricing concern, right? So once you've opened up their mind, right, because you've reframed the objection, share something like this. Here's what I've found, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Remodeling prices are a lot like custom-built puzzles. You know, each piece, like the materials, the time, the expertise, the care that the actual installer takes, it all fits together in a unique way, and it's based on what you need and what you want. And that's why you will get different estimates, right? It's not because someone's overpriced or underpriced. It's because we're all building a different version of the same puzzle for you, right? Make no mistake about it. The cheap guy is making a lot of profit. All right? They're making profit. And the person that's priced higher is also making profit. And profit is what keeps people in business. Now, often what ends up happening is the cheap person, if you stick to them and you can actually get them to give you close to what they're telling you they're going to give you, they're not going to make money. And once they realize that you're making them adhere to the standards and forcing them to give you what you've wanted all along, that's when the real problems happen. That's when they stop showing up on the job, right? They just can't do it. They can't give you what you want and make profit at the price that they're charging you. So understand that. Be smart. Now, step 4, we have to provide assurance. So we have to reassure them. Say, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, right? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, my goal isn't just to give you a number. It's to understand your vision and give you a result that you'll love, one that you'll enjoy for many years, and one that you can trust. Would it be helpful if I walked you through exactly what goes into my pricing so that you feel more comfortable and confident moving forward, right? So your transparency will build trust. Now, when I say this, you don't have to break down every bit and every cost like dollar for dollar. What you show and explain is that you are accounting for all the different variables, and you have made sure that you're aware that, yes, we're going to have to make sure we do this. And because you want that over there, we have to make this adjustment over here. And the other person might not be doing that, because if they don't do that, that's just going to cause you problems down the road, right? So I'm giving you a more complete picture of all the things that's included, and many of the things you may not have thought that we were doing. And please forgive me for not making it more apparent from the get-go that look how much more of a complete or complex solution that we're offering, right? So again, your transparency builds trust. You walk them through the details of your process, right? Not the price. You walk them through the details of the process, and you highlight the quality, if appropriate, of the materials, the craftsmanship, the care, the support, the way that your company stands behind the product, the way that your company has a success rate where we guarantee that we get the jobs done, right? We will fulfill on the contract. You won't be chasing us down. You won't be taking us to court. We will get the job complete just like you've always wanted, right? And give you the finished product that you desire. Now, so here we are. How do we make sure that we're educating the homeowner to see the value over the cost? Remember, our role is not just to sell a remodel. It's really to be an advocate for the client, and we are there to educate them, right? And many homeowners just don't realize. They don't realize that the importance of precise measurements. They don't realize the importance of proper planning, right? They don't understand the difference between the cheap materials and the premium ones, right? They just don't understand that a lot of manufacturers have taken their product to just the absolute bare minimum tolerance level, to where it's not like it's not if the product's going to fail. It's more about the matter of when that product's going to fail, right? We all know that the higher quality, the things that are built to survive and stand and give us many years of enjoyment, they just cost more, right? Because a lot of our society has just gone to a throwaway, right? Things aren't expected to even last that long. So explain that to the homeowner. Make sure that they fully understand that. Also, explain to them the risk that's involved, the risks of hiring a contractor who sells themselves on the low price, who cuts the corners, right? And who leads with that. Help them understand that they're the ones that are going to cause you to have to end up in court, right? Or seek penalties, lawsuits, right? Years of disappointment, frustration, because what you have isn't holding up and isn't giving you the years of enjoyment that you thought it would. That's the reality of hiring that company over there. There's low risk contractors, and the low risk contractor, their price, yes, may cost a little bit more, but it's because you're getting more, right? The value of what they are providing is of a higher quality across the board. So, in closing, I invite you to take time, re-listen to this, enroll in some of our courses. If you're not already, join our affiliate program. Become a master of these skills in how to communicate and how to educate and how to navigate this process out there. So if you're ready to turn these price objections into opportunities, right? Level up. Come on. Join the Remodeling Academy's affiliate program. It's the only program designed to guarantee your remodeling business is one of the successful ones. So head over to theremodelingacademy.com to learn more, right? We can transform your sales process, which will transform your business, and that ends up transforming your life, which is why you got into this industry in the first place. So until next time, this is Mike reminding you, don't blame the price, build the process. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Hack Hour podcast. It would be awesome if you would leave us a quick review on iTunes. To further your remodeling success, go to remodelingriches.com.